What's going on, everybody? Nate Holloway here. And guys, I'm so excited because I'm here with another episode of A Father's Authority podcast where we talk about all things fatherhood. For those of you that are joining in for the first time tonight, just want to let you know a little bit about us. A Father's Authority is a part of Kingdom Relationship. And what we do is we exist to change the narrative on fatherhood. Our goal is to bring the hearts of the fathers back into the lives of their children, to get fathers back engaged with their children, and to change the narrative on fatherhood, whether single fathers, married fathers, um, mentors, bonus dads. We want to talk about all things fatherhood, and just to get people thinking about fathers on a different level because fathers are important. Our children need their fathers. I know we got a lot of single mothers out there, and some of this can help single mothers too. But we just want to just bring it to the forefront and have people talking more about fatherhood. And tonight is for all fathers, but this is for my single dads. You have been asking me, and I have answered. We have a lot of single fathers out there, and the world is joking them a lot. But there are single dads out there who are busting their butts, taking care of the children on their own, raising their kids, being there for their kids, and doing the best that they can to be great fathers. And tonight, I have a gentleman who is a single father of six, and he is doing his thing with raising his kids. He was connected to me through a mutual friend, and just watching him on Instagram and everything he does. I mean, he's doing phenomenal, raising his kids as a single father. And again, he's a single father of six. Now, I'm with one and my wife in the house. I'll get worn out with Caleb, but he has six and he's doing the thing. He's doing it up. He's doing what a father is supposed to do. So, guys, tonight I'm going to bring on my new friend, Travis Walker Sr. Let's give him a round of applause. What's going on, Travis?
My brother, how are you? I
I'm
appreciate it.
good, man. I'm good. I hope my introduction was good for you. I had to emphasize that you're doing your thing as a dad, man. Now, I got to bring up, you are a single father of six,
Yes, sir.
dude. Six.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Before we go any further, man, how do you do it? I got one, and I'm worn out from the weekend still.
Sure.
How do you do it?
One day at a time. I have to take it each day, minute by minute, hour by hour. Um, but again, I can't take full credit. I have a dope community of individuals that play a major role in my everyday success as a father.
Good, good. And let me ask you, how do they play that role? What roles do they play? How do they help you? How does your community help you be successful?
In various ways. Obviously, I have to humble myself and ask for the help. Um, I know we were talking about that earlier, but excuse me, it's a new journey, a new habit in asking for help.
Okay.
Um, Setting my ego aside and being willing to allow people to come into the life of my children and I, and make myself vulnerable, to the help.
Okay, cool, cool. And we like I said, we talked earlier. One of the issues that I'm glad you said that about being honest about being set your ego aside to ask for help, because a lot of men won't ask for help.
Right.
A lot of times because we feel that a lot of men feel this weakness and to say they need help and they try to figure out on their own when your community is what you need. And I
Right.
feel like that's what forces a lot of fathers away from their children and our lives of their children, because when you don't ask for help, it can be stressful. It could drain you mentally, it could drain you physically, it could drain you emotionally. And as men, when we get emotionally drained, sometimes we pull back and we just be like, I'm done with this. I'm not dealing with it. And it's something we have to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. So along with the added, stress and strain that we go through on a daily basis, as men, especially as Black men, we have the weight of the world, and we also have the weight of our own community,
Hmm.
right? So we trying to find that balance and navigating that successfully is hard. And so when you think about having the ability to ask for help, it's knowing where to find the help,
Hmm.
where the resources are, and then being amongst people who are willing to give you help, and
Yeah.
point in the right direction. And those that are, and find the individuals that are willing to offer um, help, or point you in the direction to those resources.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's key. That's key. And that's good that you have that tribe and community of people that are willing to do that. So let me ask you. Matter of fact, tell the people a little bit about you. Tell the people about Travis. Who is Travis?
Sure. Uh, 39, single father of 6 children. I've been a single father since 2016.
Okay.
Um, I I recently I was granted full legal and physical custody of my children back in 2019. Um, so spent 2 years of in litigation, trying to simply offer my children a better life.
Okay.
Um, so getting through that journey, uh, I during the day I'm a IT recruiter, um,
Okay.
and then in the evenings I'm a serial entrepreneur, um, and that's pretty much it. I'm outside of that I'm just a dad. That's I'm just a dad. I don't know what else my life has in store, but right now I've just committed myself to fatherhood, and making sure that I'm becoming a better version of myself. Being willing to learn. Um, at 39 years old, having been in my children's lives all their life. My oldest son, he's 15. Um, I'm still learning. I'm still on that learning curve, of
Okay.
fatherhood. I'm learning something new every single day. So trying to figure out, the next best thing. Trying to make the next best step in this journey. Making sure that those steps are elevating steps. Um, so being in the IT realm, trying to grow as that field is growing every single day, and
Hmm.
making sure that my children have a part in that as well. Um, just uh, having fun with my children. You
Yeah.
waking up every day, just embracing a lot of changes. That
Hmm.
that I'm going to face. Uh, every day is different. You never know
Yeah.
what's going to happen, especially with 6 children. You know,
Right.
so now you have that balancing act with 6 different personalities.
Hmm.
So I'm learning how to give individual attention to each individual personality that I have in the house. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun in my house. And I take it a day at a time. I'm learning. Let me say that I'm learning to not let fear and stress be the determining factor. You know,
That's
in
good.
in in my life and in our household.
That's good.
So children are very inquisitive, but they're very observant.
Yes.
So
Yes, they are.
so they're watching every single thing, how I react to certain things. So uh, learning how to take command of my emotions, my mouth, what I say, you know,
That's good, man. Man,
yeah,
you a mouthful. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, man. But in a nutshell, you ask who am I? I'm a man. I'm a single father. that's learning,
Mm.
uh, but staying committed, during the journey. So,
Yeah. Yeah. You
and
said a mouthful
I,
in this, man. Yeah, you
uh,
said three things, and I could go on those three things all day. You said first committed, which we gotta follow. We gotta commit. We gotta commit
yeah,
to
yeah,
our children. And then you said a key point. You said having fun. And I think that if fathers would see the fun in fatherhood, if they would just have fun with their kids and not let the stress of work, the stress of life get to them. Because when I come home, my son brings joy to me. If we see
right.
them that no matter how my day was at work, because the day is Monday, and Mondays in my profession is always hectic,
Mhm.
especially on the 5th of the month. And so when I come home, I'm tired and I'm beat down from work. When I walk through that door and I see Daddy, and he gives me a hug and I missed you, Daddy. That just brings so much joy. And I'm just like, whatever happened at work, it's like the stress is gone.
Yeah.
And it forces you, I don't want to say force, I like to say force, but it makes you want to learn how to deal with the stress when you're truly having fun with fatherhood, and I think that is key. So let me ask you, did you have your father in your life growing up?
I did. So for the first 13 years of my life, I was aware, of who my father was. And it wasn't until, up until I was 13 that I became acquainted, with my father.
Okay.
Uh, my mother did a great job of making sure that, I had the necessary tools, but she understood that um, there was a point that she no longer could, get me over that hump of manhood. So she literally dropped me off in Charlottesville, Virginia. I grew up in a small town called Keswick, Virginia. Uh,
Okay.
and so she dropped me off in Charlottesville, Virginia, where my father lived.
Hold on, man. You from VA?
Yes, sir.
I'm from
Yes, sir.
VA, man. I'm from Richmond.
Oh, so yeah, you're a neighbor. You're right down the street.
Yeah, born and raised in Richmond.
um, but yeah, man, so my mom dropped me off. So between my aunt, who lived around the corner from my father, I would bounce back and forth between my aunt's house and my dad's house. But you know, it wasn't a scary thing, being dropped off, in the middle of a new town. I didn't know anybody, but my mom, uh, she
She did a
never
boys of hood moment on you. Boys
exactly,
in the hood
exactly,
moment.
exactly. It's time to be a man. So she literally pushed me out of the nest. But um, I think she saw some things in me that she knew needed a father's
Hmm.
touch, and she never, throughout those 13 years where he wasn't necessarily there. My mother never said anything bad about my dad. Not one
Mm.
bad thing.
Okay.
I've never heard my mother say one bad thing about my father. Never. God rest her soul. She passed in 2015, but um, you know, my mom did a heck of a job, just with how she raised me, but how she set me up, uh, as as a man, right, and to be successful in being, I guess, receptive to the things of manhood and becoming a man, and then ultimately
Hmm.
becoming a father. She did an excellent job. So uh, it made it easy for me to look forward to just being a son, and look forward to seeing what my dad had to offer as far as fatherhood. And so since then, my father and I, we've been able to develop an awesome relationship. I've enjoyed those years of getting to know not only my father, but my father's side of the family, which is
Okay.
huge. You know, discovering that that I have such a large family in particularly Esmont, Virginia, uh, as well as Charlottesville, Virginia. So I've enjoyed meeting new family members, especially via social media. Right,
Uh,
anyone with the last name Rush or Gray, you know, okay, I know we're related somewhere down the line. But yeah, man, I've enjoyed every step of the way, and just those conversations, just to have the ability to have a conversation with my father, and learning from that, learning how to sit down and uh, give my own children time, to
hmm
connect with me, because they have a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions, and my dad took the time to answer those questions the best he could. Um, and then getting to identify with um, those different characteristics that I got from my father.
hmm
I didn't know early on, right? But it's like, oh,
Right.
you know, being witty, with words, being sharp when it comes to speaking or engaging individuals, um, and an awesome work ethic. When I look at my father's side of the family, everyone on that side has an unmatched work ethic. Man, they
Mm.
you know great stock of family, and very resilient people, very proud individuals, man. And um, so shout out to all the Russian Gray family out there, man. You know, I'm I'm proud to know um, my father's side of the family, and in getting to know everyone throughout the years, um, has made me more confident in the man that I am,
Okay.
and then being able to teach that and pass that confidence down to my children.
That's good. That's good. I want to highlight your mom for a second.
Sure.
Because it was awesome that she realized that she got you to a certain place, and
Right.
that she needed your father to take you further, to over that hump. And
Mhm.
I love that she realized that, because a lot of single mothers, single mothers, I think they realize it, but they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that they need the help, or they don't want to admit that I can't take him but so far. And even some, I've heard somewhere, they don't tell the son about the child about the father, or they don't, or they don't let him be in a child's life. Now, I'm not saying it's all single moms, single ladies. I'm not saying it's all. Don't get me. I'm
I
not
put
saying
that
it's all.
disclaimer out there. Yeah, yeah.
Put that disclaimer out there. But those, it's some that I know, um, that didn't realize that they need, and whether or not it's the father that you expose your child to, it could be a mentor, a
Right.
male mentor that you
Exactly.
expose to. My mom exposed me to mentors that I had, and some people. I have friends that were great single mothers, and exposed their children to mentors that helped them with that fathering and that male, that next level. But I just want to I want to commend your say, I highlight your mom for that, commend your mom for that. God rest her soul. That she did that, and she realized that. And if they're in the single mothers watching this tonight, or that you're seeing that, I want you to understand and realize that you can ask. You don't have to do it all by yourself. There's some men out there that are willing to be mentors, that are willing to help you if you need help. And if your child's father is there, do like Travis' mom did, or do like on Boys in the Hood. Go drop them off. Say, here, it's your responsibility. I need you to do it now. And let the father take over from there. Now, unless he deadbeat, then we don't want you to do that. But But if you need help, just just ask for help. But Travis, I love that, man. So what does fatherhood mean to you, Travis?
I mean, fatherhood for me means everything. I think that the greater part of my relevancy in life is due to me having become a father. And I I don't want to take that for granted ever. Um, and there are people that have invested a lot in me being able to simply be a dad to my children. Uh,
Mhm.
and so, in addition to that, there, man, the things that I had to endure, just to simply wake up in the morning and be a dad, that um, that makes fatherhood that much more important and paramount to everything else. You know,
Mhm.
um, so when I think about now as I've gotten wiser, I how how I select my work, how I go about my day. I have to figure out how does this play into the well-being of my children,
Okay.
right? Um, and now when things happen to me, I don't take it personal. I don't take it personal, or as personal as I once would. Um, I take it as, and in some cases, a threat to the well-being of my children. Like, how does this affect
Mm.
the well-being of my children?
Okay.
Um, so, in addition to my decisions, the decisions that I make, I had to, um, like, still been on that learning curve, figuring out, what's the best decision. How do I go about making the best decisions? Whether that's mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. How does this fit into the well-being of my children? Does this offer is this beneficial? In any way. Um, so even with fatherhood meaning so much to me, I now have to understand that there's so much more to me,
Mm.
and so now not becoming lost in the whole idea of my responsibility. That there's still some maintenance that's necessary for me to carry out the responsibility of fatherhood as much as it means to me. Um, I have to be able to make sure that I'm setting the necessary time for self care. To kind of
Mm. Yeah.
you know um, rejuvenate. To charge my battery a little bit and get back to being a father. In order to get back to being a father and to do it successfully, I have to make sure that I don't. Um, uh,
Burn
neglect.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that has happened. You know, so many times before. I had to learn the hard way in a lot of instances. So, um, and this was before I had the community, right? This was before, um, you know, God made way for the right people to come into my life, and this is before I was ready for the right people, to come in, and come into not only my life but my children's life. Um, so fatherhood meant change. I had to do a lot of changing.
Hmm.
A lot of soul searching, a lot of time spent looking in the mirror, and dealing with my mess, my own issues, the things that I allowed to come in due to my own uh, poor decisions, and owning up to those things, and then going through the process, just going through the process, and um, celebrating the fact that I'm still on this side of life, and I still have this opportunity to make things not only right but better, not only for myself
Good.
but for my children.
That's good. That's good. So what's the best part of being a father?
Like I said, man, the um, the bulk of my relevancy is because I'm a dad.
Hmm.
As far as being a man, I think that um, we're not as relevant as we can and should be until we have either children or mentees that have been affected by our presence. So um, the best part for me is just simply having the ability to wake up every day, you know,
Hmm.
before my children, and getting them prepared for the day, and then being the last one to go to sleep, getting them to bed. But that journey in between waking up and going to sleep, um, I'm getting to know them over every single day.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
good.
getting to know a group of children over again, all over again, every single day. So we're not the same today as we were yesterday, but having the privilege of seeing six beautiful beings, wake up and let me just say this. So my daughter literally wakes up with an itinerary, right? I've never seen this in any other human being in my life, but she has this energy where she literally just pops up as if she's already been awake,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah. So, but when she wakes up, she wakes up telling me what her plans are during the day,
Wow.
and
How old is she?
she's 7.
Oh,
She's
wow.
amazing. She's a powerful entity, man. And like she's something special. She's definitely something special, man. But you know, the way watching how her mind works,
Hmm.
um, and being able to see that every single day, man, there's nothing like that. Um, and then watching my sons, how they work together as a unit, you know, um, uh, how they like in our neighborhood, right? Um, they're a group of kids, but the day doesn't start in our neighborhood until my children go outside, until my boys
Mm.
go outside, because they set the tone for how the the daily activities are going to be in the
Oh,
neighborhood,
wow. That's an
whether it's
influence
soccer.
already.
Exactly. So they have a level of influence that I don't even think they know that they have, but they have uh, great great leadership skills, natural leadership skills, and
Mm.
um, they are uh, they're trendsetters, all their own. So um, they have their own style of dress. They're not uh, they're not influenced by, from what I can tell, social media. They just have their own sense of style, right? And they're just confident in that.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah. So I, uh, I just sit back in awe, and just simply observing my children. That's it's like six little versions of myself every single day. Um, and just to wrap up the question, man, the best part about fatherhood is is you're watching your child. This is a version of you, right? This is
Yeah.
some fraction of you, but you have an opportunity to love on yourself, basically, in a
That's
way
good.
that um, you may have wished you were loved on as a child at their age. So you have an opportunity to love on yourself in a way that you once were or wish you uh, had have been loved on yourself. So I think it's a dope opportunity. Um, for fathers to get out there and just say, hey, this is a little me. Let me love on myself a little bit. So yeah.
I love it, man. I love how you said how you get to learn them all over again each day.
Hmm.
If I can say it right, I love it because you that is true because your children wake up, they're growing and you're
Yeah.
gonna learn something new from them, learn something different from them every day. And I never looked at it like that. But I watch my son how his personality has changed and how
Yeah.
he'll like something today and then tomorrow, man, he'll wake up and Daddy, I'm gonna do this, or he knows something different, or he says to me, Daddy, did you know this? Or and I love that, but I never looked at it from that point of view as I get to learn him over, you know, every day, and I love that, and that's what makes it fun being a dad. It makes fatherhood fun.
Yeah.
So, how important are a father's words to his children?
Um, Man, they're everything. Words are, obviously words are powerful, right? And I'm still learning every day to watch what I say, how I say it, and then
Mm,
my actions that lead up to or follow, the things that I say. Um, so it's careful. Excuse me. It's important for us to be careful with our words
yeah.
and um, practice, taking command of our mouth, of our tongue. Uh,
Hmm.
and understanding, that life and death is held, in our tongue. So, and words, when you're making a promise, you know,
Yep.
keep it,
Yep.
keep it. Uh yeah, I'm guilty of making promises that I couldn't keep in the past.
Hmm.
The worst feeling in the world was that look of disappointment
Yes.
in my children's face, that I let them down, man. Um you can't easily shake that off,
No.
and then my own internal issues with that, beating myself up because I let my son down. I couldn't come through on a gift that he wanted, that I said
Hmm.
I was going to get him on this date and time, and it didn't happen. And so that and that has happened several times over with me, obviously with multiple children, but I learned, there was a lesson in that, and so I've learned to um, one, don't make promises that you can't keep, but two, just be careful with your words. And so with that being, you you become or should become creative with your words. You know,
Yeah.
um, your words should be positive. All positive. Um,
You said something about keeping a promise, and I think that's key with us with our words because our children hold on to our words, and as fathers, we have an opportunity to speak into them and develop their future and direct their lives.
sure.
And I learned that with my son. I think maybe one time I told him I was going to do something, and I didn't do it, and he was so hurt about it. But now he knows that if he asks for something and I tell him we're going to do it, and he gets impatient, I said, "Son, has Daddy ever made a promise? Does Daddy make promises to you that I don't keep?" He said, "No." I said, "Don't I keep our promise?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Then you know I'm going to do it." and he holds on to that.
Right.
He
That's just
holds on to what I say
mm-hmm.
I'm going to do. And I've heard so many people say, that their dad told him he was coming and he didn't come. They stood
Yeah.
by the door, and people remember those things. They remember that my father, when I found my father, I knew of him, but I had never met him. Still haven't met him. When I found him on YouTube, and I found his Facebook page, and I reached out, and the last words I heard him say to me was, "Why don't you leave me alone?" And
Mm-hmm.
those words still sting to this day. I'll be 48 next week, and I think I was maybe like 39, 40 when
Mm-hmm.
it happened 8 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, and I can still feel the sting of those words as a grown man
Mm-hmm.
today. Now I can only imagine how our children feel,
True.
with our words, if we break a promise to them or if we speak negative to them, or how it affects our children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because the Bible said death and life is in the power of the tongue, that our lives must be satisfied by the consequences of our words. And so your children, parents who are watching, when you speak to your children, it's going to form them. I tell my son every day he's great. In his mind, he's great. I tell him every day he's a champion. In his mind, he's a champion. But if I tell my son every day he's not gonna be nothing, he's no good,
Right.
then
Right.
he's gonna grow up thinking he's no good. I'm a product. God has blessed me to get over it. But when I was coming up, it was said to me that I wasn't gonna be anything. I was slow. That I was gonna do nothing. But for a big part of my life, those words affected me
Right.
to where it took me longer to get to even where I am. It took me longer to get to this point in my life because of the words that were spoken over me as a child.
Right. And going back to the point that you made, children hold on
Hmm.
to so much, right? They have the ability, they have the brain capacity, to not only hold on to what we say, but to compartmentalize those things. And
Hmm.
um, they can recall, verbatim what you said, when you said. My
Yes.
daughter, she can tell me what I was wearing when I said it. Remember you had that blue hat on. But no, man. You know, children are you hear the cliche, children are sponges.
Hmm.
They literally are. Their brains, are their brains are taking in so much information, and their memory is so sharp, acute. So it's like they can recall so much, and so it's important that we understand that, but you know, understand that our words have power, and so when we're speaking to our children, making sure that what we say and how we say it is positive, it's uplifting, it's empowering, um, it's encouraging, making sure that our children walk away from us feeling you know rejuvenated, confident,
Hmm.
uplifted, and then or that our children approach us, they come to us with not just reverence and respect, but confidence.
Yeah.
Um, uh, a, a humbling situation for me was I found myself getting frustrated. There was a point in life where I wasn't making the type of money that I needed to make, that I wanted to make at the time. But my children, they were constantly asking me for stuff. They were constantly, they wanted this, they wanted that. Ultimately, I wasn't in. I couldn't say, "Hey, go ask your mom," right?
Hmm.
And I
Right.
couldn't say, "Go ask such as I was all they had," and so I just got frustrated. I almost blurted out, some unnecessary words.
Mm.
Uh, just stop asking me for things. But um, I would liken it to the spirit, saying, no, this is not right. Um,
Right.
and it was such a humbling moment because the spirit spoke to me, and it was like, they're asking, they're on the steps now listening, but they're asking, they're not asking you for these things because they want them. They're asking you because they believe you can provide it for them. They're
Hmm.
asking you because they believe they don't have to go no further than you.
Right.
Know what I'm saying? So I
Yep.
mean, they're asking you, and because they believe in you, and because they believe they don't have to go any further. They're that confident in you, that you can provide this for them. That they're asking you with confidence. So don't rob them of that confidence.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you're their source. You're
right,
you're you're their source, and they realize that dad is my source. So that's who I go to.
right, and how often, do we sit in church and we hear a pastor say that this is the relationship that we're supposed to have with God? Here
Hmm.
I am being upset that my children are walking in this type of confidence and relationship with me, right?
Right.
That was such a humbling moment. It broke me down. It literally changed, my outlook, and my approach to fatherhood completely that day, that night, actually. And so since that day, I've approached fatherhood with a different mindset, a different energy, and thankfully, that was the humbling that I needed,
Hmm.
to to get me on the right track. And ever since that day, it's been blessings on top of blessings, for not only myself but my children. But
That's good.
understand, man, that how crazy that your children look at you the same way we should approach God.
Yep.
So, um, again, that's a daily, humbling, with me every single day, man. But it's definitely pressure. It's definitely pressure.
Yeah. It is, man. It is because we you made a good point. We're supposed to see God as Father, and we know that God doesn't want us to lack anything. That we're able to go to Him and say, "Dad, I need this. I need that. This is
Hmm.
what I'm believing for," and have that confidence that what we ask that He's going to give us the desires of our heart. And so that's why how our children are wired. If we're wired like that, then our children are wired like that. To
Hmm.
look at us as their source, because my son said to me, um, we went somewhere, we was in the store, we were at the zoo, and he wanted something, and I said, Bud, I said that's about $29, something like that.
Yeah,
He said, okay, Daddy, you got money. Now he got $60, but he want my
it's
money.
as simple as that, right?
Yeah, he said, but Daddy, you got money. And here's a kicker at what he did. He said, Daddy, didn't you get paid today? It's Friday. So I was like, he said, you always get paid on Friday.
They know your
So,
pay schedule. They
right,
children are sharp. They are that observant. They know when you get paid.
right.
Yeah,
He
they
said
know
you,
what
you
pay it
get paid on
is.
Friday. And so he said, so Daddy, how much money do you have? And I said, boy, I'm not saying how much money I got out here. So he
They,
said, Daddy, tell me how much money you have. So I just whispered in the ear, and I gave him a little ballpark figure what my paycheck was. He said, "You're rich." So, but he said, "So, Daddy, you can get that for me."
yeah,
But when he said, "Daddy, but you got paid today. You always get paid on Friday," and I was just like, "Oh my God!" And I said, "So
right.
he knows that I'm his source. And he knows that, okay, daddy gets paid today.
Hmm.
It's Friday. So if I ask for something,
Right.
I'm confident that dad is gonna say yes.
Yeah.
And then they keep asking us if we say no, they keep asking us again and again and again because they're confident that if they keep asking, because we're their source. And
Yeah.
but that's how we're supposed to go to God. We're
Right.
supposed to go to God because delay doesn't mean deny.
Uh
So
huh.
just because God says no today,
Uh huh.
we may have to get another level
Yeah.
to for him to say yes. So our kids say, okay, Daddy said no today, but tomorrow, you know, he may be on a different mindset. He gonna say
Yeah.
yes, But yeah, but man, that's awesome. They see us as their source, and that's one of the joys of fatherhood too, man.
Yeah.
Just seeing and learning these things and talking about it. So let me ask you, what's the best piece of advice you received from your dad?
Um, man. So going back, let me start from my mom, right? So
Okay.
I was a little different as a child. I was super hyperactive, right? Um, had a quick temper. I needed some guidance, right? I needed a little more attention in school. I was a great kid, great student, but just full of energy, right? I was a hands-on learner. Um, just I didn't operate with a lot of fear. I was a daredevil, um, very active, like sports. Um, but just I had my own personality. But my mother understood quickly, like this kid. He's a bit much, but I had um, a lot of great gifts and talents. So my mother identified that, and she knew that she was going to be uh, uh, at a point where she could not handle me. So
Hmm.
she identified that quickly. You get me to my father. He instilled something, and I guess he saw how active I was because the first day, like the very first day that I was dropped off to him, I was dropped off to him at his job, and
Oh,
he was a site director for Parks and Rec for Charlottesville City Parks and Rec at at Carver Recreation Center in Charlottesville, Virginia. So um, for those who know this center, it was a roller skating rink. I didn't know how to roller skate, right? So, but I was going to try anyway. I get on these roller skates, man, and I'm just stinking it up out there. The kids are laughing at me, teasing me, and I'm from the countryside. I didn't have the best of clothes, the best of shoes. I immediately get into a fight.
Oh,
My first
wow.
day, and nonetheless, my father, they put, they isolate me, and the day is over with. So my father, he's cleaning up. He's shutting the center down. But he calls me back into the skating rink, and he's like, "Put these skates on." And he was like, "Look, slow down. You know, slow down. You try to do everything quick. You want things to happen so fast, and that's great. But sometimes you just got to let things come to you."
Mm,
Um, but that was his first piece of advice, and that has always been his advice to me specifically.
okay.
Uh, because I guess he just knew that I was just always in a rush, always in a hurry. Um, didn't really take in life and enjoy what life had to offer. I would miss out on a lot of things. So that was the best piece of advice that he gave to me, was to just slow down. As I became more spiritually mature, that carried over into just being still and knowing that I am God, right? Just
Mm,
not uh, constantly finding myself in these positions where I get caught up in the busyness of life.
got you.
Mhm.
That's good. That's good. Just slow down. That's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes,
not too much,
yeah,
just
yeah, not too much
just
where you
enough.
get complacent and
Yeah,
lazy,
yeah,
but I think slowing down gives you opportunity to rethink the situation and look at it from God's vantage point.
Yeah.
Look at it from that point where it's okay. These are the things that I'm doing. Like when we talking before the show, but we went live. There are things that's going on in my life that I've been doing so much, and my wife would always tell me, "You stack your day. You stack your day. You do as you do. You're going to keep yourself busy. You always put some." And my wife tell me so that you need to just not do something. Like my birthday is coming. I took a couple of days off, and one of the days I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go with Caleb to do this. She said, "How about you just take the day and rest?" And
Right,
so,
right,
but sometimes, but I've learned that out of all the things I've been working on doing, and good intentions,
right.
but sometimes I need to just slow down, take a couple of things off my plate, and focus on my son. Focus on my family and spend, and just slow it. And then once we do that, we start saying, "Oh, I don't really need that anyway," or
Exactly,
that
exactly.
anyway, or that was a good thing, but not a God thing, or things like that. And so, oh, that was in the way, that's not gonna get me in. And so and I like that when we start slowing down and seeing everything, it gives us opportunity to think. So I know you got a piece of advice from your dad. So what's an important piece of advice you've given to your children?
Um, so I have to deal with them individually, right? So
Okay.
my advice is different for each one. Um, and my children are so inquisitive, man. They ask a bunch of questions. Uh, they're super observant too. So, um, but lately, as a unit, um, my advice to them is to just be a unit and don't let anything disrupt them as a unit. I don't. I think as the older that they're becoming, I think that they're becoming more aware of
Mhm,
how much they need each other. Right. Uh,
mhm.
a few years back, I noticed that, like, if I were to take three and let them stay the night at a friend's house, and take another group, the other set of three, and send them somewhere for the night, they don't know how to function outside of
Apart.
each other. Yeah, they don't know how to function apart.
Wow.
Um, and so, and I think that's great. But I tell them all the time, there's power in your unity,
Hmm.
right? And I tell my boys all the time, when it comes to your sister, it should never be a fair fight, But no, man, I tell them, just you know, there's power in unity. So much spiritual, not only physical but spiritual, um, mental and financial power in your
Hmm.
unity. So we're embarking on this financial literacy, journey together. Just stepping up our financial literacy. So
Are
uh,
they doing that little owners class? Because you put me on that little owners.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they have like some awesome booklets, and then sense to sense
Hmm.
is another thing that I just purchased. They have a dope board game and some
It's
flash.
sense SENSE
Yes, sir.
to sense
Yes, sir.
CAENTS. Okay,
Yes.
they on Instagram.
Yes, sir. They're on
Okay.
Instagram. Give me 1 second. Let me grab the board real quick.
Okay. Guys, I'm gonna pull it up. Sense to sense. Guys, I'm telling you, there's things out there that you can get for your kids to teach
Yes.
them financial literacy. There are things, and this guy has put me on to allow follow him on Instagram, guys, and he's put me on. It's a group called Little Owners, where there's a course to teach your kids stock investing and real estate investing
Mhm.
between 6 and 12. I'm working on that. I'm getting my son in the next round of that, and he said it's sense to sense.
Yes, sir. So the
Yeah.
good thing about those little owners and citizens, they speak the language that children can understand. They speak it in a language that children can understand and grasp it quickly. So this is a shameless plug. There's no, we're not sponsored or anything, but I think this is incredible. It's a dope tool for parents. Um, so
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the board game, but it comes with a lot of great tools in it, man. And so my younger two, they enjoyed it. We've had a chance to play it. So we're gonna do it as a group, as a unit, as a family. So they
And what
have,
is it teaches them financial literacy?
yes, financial literacy, budgeting,
Okay.
um, decision making with your money. What's they talk about, they teach them credit score, what's good. I don't know if you can
Mm.
see that. So there's like a credit score wheel here that they have to spin, and so they make um, so your financial options and the decisions that you make
Uh-huh.
will change based on your credit score,
Oh
right?
wow.
Yeah. So they teach them that how to handle money. They give them like a little stack of money here, but it's a great tool to start with
Okay.
when it comes to financial literacy. Um, but to be honest, I've learned a lot from these tools. Um, certain things that I wasn't aware of, that we may not have been privy to. So again,
Yeah.
like I'm still on the learning curve myself, but nonetheless, um, we have tools out there. There are people within our community that offer this information. Um, just got to know where to find it.
That's good, man. That's good. And I think connecting with those type of groups and companies because we don't know. I never knew. Um, that's another thing too about fatherhood and the things. I never knew that these tools were out there for our
Mhm.
kids until now. Until I
Right.
started became follow and I started following you. You put me on to little owners, and now you just put me on sense to sense. And I'm actually going to start researching those tools and reaching out to these companies
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
to help promote it. Even on my website, stuff like that, seeing how help promote to get more awareness of that. Because guys, if you're a father and you listen to this, even if you're a single mother and you listen to this, we need to make our children aware. We don't want to wait them have them wait until they become adults to learn
Right.
about financial literacy, to learn about investing and things like that. I've just as an adult learned about those things because my mother didn't have the knowledge. Um,
Right.
so now my godfather taught me certain things about money and things like that, but the things about investing and things like that, we didn't have that coming up. So, but I love what you said about your children about teaching them that there's power in their unity,
Hmm.
teaching them how to be unified. I think that can grow into a family business, a family
Yeah.
conglomerate, a family that when they grow up, they have those things, a sense of family. I make sure I focus like my wife's family. My family is kind of, everybody's everywhere. But I do that with family. That we believe in family. We'll go holidays together. We do Christmas at Thanksgiving at our house, Christmas at her mom's house. Things like that. And I believe in, like I said, that unity. If we teach our children that unity, especially brothers and sisters now, as brothers and sisters, when they grow up, they won't be at each other's throat. They won't have family drama like a lot of families have and things like that. But that's good. I love that, man. I really do. Um, so what I do now at the end of the show, what I like to do is give you an opportunity to speak to dads out there to impart something to them, however you feel led to, whether you want to pray for them, whether you want to speak into their lives, give them advice, encouragement, or things like that. Tonight's episode was really, I want you to speak to the single fathers out there.
Sure.
And because I know there are single mothers too that may be watching that taking on that father role.
Yeah.
If you can, if you're comfortable, say something. But how we want to do it, whether we want to give them advice on to speak to the single parents out there to help them, give them a piece of advice, man.
Sure, man. I try to be quick. To single parents, just take a breather. Just take a deep breath. The way the world is going to be on your shoulders. But take a breath and then step out on faith and courage and ask for help. Seek out, tools and resources. There are a lot of local resources. So, just simply, jump on Google and find some local resources that are accessible. There are a lot of tools out there, honestly. And I didn't know until I just made the step, and started doing the research. Um, but to single fathers specifically, if you're there and you're raising, children, um, just embrace the change. Embrace becoming a good listener. Embrace becoming humble. Embrace becoming patient. Um, and embrace becoming solution oriented. And I say, my top two are embrace being humble and embrace being solution oriented. Be humble or get humble. Those are your two options. Be humble or get humbled, man. Being a single parent uh, exposes you in so many different ways. It reintroduces you to yourself. You're gonna discover a lot of things about yourself that you did not know existed. It's gonna pull up a lot of deep rooted, issues in you that you may need to make adjustments on. Make those adjustments for the sake of your family, and your children. Make those adjustments. Embrace being solution oriented. This was a hard lesson learned for me, as I mentioned earlier. Making promises that I couldn't keep. Um, but I say be solution oriented because I've become solution oriented. The reason being is children, they don't they don't care about excuses, right?
Nope.
Um, and the reason why children don't care about excuses or any excuse that you may give them, it's because they can't comprehend the excuse. Their minds, they don't comprehend excuse. The only thing children understand, especially when it comes, they're always asking you for things. The only thing that they understand and comprehend are results. That is it. That is the bottom line with children. Um, and again, I had to learn this the hard way. But they don't understand excuses. They can only comprehend results, and that's what you have to give your children. That's what you have to offer your children are results and not excuses. So become creative with finding solutions. So if your child asks for a jacket on their birthday, but it's not going to be financially feasible, um, be honest and say, hey, I don't think I can make that happen on your birthday, but they may have a report card coming around the corner. Your child may be an honor roll student, so gift them with that jacket during that time, but become creative in figuring out a solution on how you're going to get that jacket. And it could be as simple as asking a community member, whoever that may be, hey, I'm trying to get this jacket for my son or daughter, and they may have the solution. So if you don't have it, ask and find the solution. Find someone who has the solution. But get out of the element of giving your children excuses, because they will never understand an excuse, because they believe in you that much. They believe in you that much as a parent, as a mother, as a father, um, as husband and wife. This goes for all parents, whether you're single or not. Um, Offer your children solutions rather than excuses, and just step up to the challenge. It's not going to be easy, but definitely step up to the challenge, man, and see what you're made of as a man or a woman. Because this is going to expose you to yourself, and it's going to show you what you're made of. Uh, and 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 you may surprise yourself. You may not know that you had that ability to accomplish certain things, but you're going to find out pretty soon. And then you're going to also discover uh, uh, areas where that you can work on, that you can develop and become better at. So just embrace it. Take it a day at a time, and just enjoy every single day. There's joy in seeing your children um, just be children, and
Mhm.
uh, my prayer to parents all, whether you're single or not, I pray that you find the strength, to get up and continue to push through, the things that you don't like to do, that job that you don't like, that you get up and go to every day. You're that supervisor that you have to deal with every single day, that coworker, or that environment, or just whatever your circumstance may be. You know, I pray strength that you continue to push through and that you find that solution that's going to put you and your children in a much better place.
It's good, man. Man, well, I thank you for that. Guys, I'm telling you, he has some great wisdom. That was some great advice. Just follow, like he said, just breathe, take a breather, and just slow down, and then just become creative and solution oriented. And I know and I believe that that's going to help us, even for the single mothers that's maybe watch or listening.
Yeah,
Do that as well. But Travis, man, I thank you for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure, man. I'm so glad we got connected and hooked up. I'm gonna grab that sense to sense, but just hold on for one moment. Give me a
sure.
second, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight for another episode of Father's Authority. My good friend Travis Walker, seeing he gave some great advice again. He's a father, a successful father of six. See that? Six. He's doing it successfully on his own. So I know, guys, if you're a father of one, if you're a father of three, however many children you have, you can do it if you're a single father. Even if you're a father, you have your wife there, the child's mother there, we can still do it. We got to build a community of fathers to help each other. And like Travis said, the community helps them. So guys, let's create a fatherhood nation. I don't know what we're gonna call it. We call it something dad nation or something. But let's do it. Let's create a tribe, a community of fathers. And I want to know who's going to help me. If you're going to help me build that tribe and build that community of dads, just hit me up on Instagram. I am Nate Holloway and say I'm in. And we can do that. We're gonna get together. We're gonna change the narrative on fatherhood. But guys, thank you for joining us tonight. If you guys have any questions, just email me at hello@kingdomrelationships.org, or you can hit me up on Instagram at I am Nate Holloway, or hit us up at K Relationships on Instagram, or right here on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, just message me, or if you're watching on YouTube, just put a comment and let me know. Guys, I thank you. But first, before I go, I just want to pray with everybody, and then we're going to just let you go about your day. Father, in the name of Jesus, God, I thank you for those who are watching, those who are listening. Father, Lord, I just thank you that every father that's watching, every mother that's watching, that's under the sound of my voice, is blessed, is favored, is given wisdom. They slow down, they take a breather, and they get creative and solution oriented, Father. They figure out what it is they need to be the parent that their children need, to be the father that their children need. Lord, I thank you that you speak to them, Father, that they find the community that they need, the community help them. They're not afraid to ask. And I pray for single mothers right now that they get the community they need, the community of men to come, and it's going to have the right intentions to help them to be men, help their sons become men and be fathers to their children, Father, be mentors. Thank you, praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Guys, again, until next time, we'll be back with another great interview for you next time. But again, I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. Be victorious.